Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Sethi. You have known me as a sports commentator. Today I am here in a different role. I am starting my own show, the Sethi Show. We are going to have two segments in this show. In the first segment, we will be talking to some eminent personality. That personality could belong to any subject. We will not limit ourselves to one subject. And yes, we also want to make this program a youth-centric. In the second segment, we'll talk about IELTS. Yes, you heard me right, IELTS. I am a master class IELTS trainer from British Council. And we want to help those students and the youth who want to go abroad for higher studies or for work. So I want them to get good band and crack the IELTS with a good score. So these are going to be the two segments, and without further ado, let's start the program. Welcome aboard. So today we have in our studios Professor Dr. Ravi Dhar. I know him as the director of a prestigious college of Delhi, Jagannath International Management School, popularly known as JIMS, affiliated to GGIP University. But before I start talking to him, I'm reminded of a recent incident. I've got two grandchildren, aged 5 and 6.5, and one day they called me and my wife and said, "Today we are your teachers and you are our student." So I said, "What are we going to do? What do you expect of us?" They said, "You need to learn lessons. So you sit down and tell me your name." I said, "My name is Dr. Sethi." They laughed. They laughed and said, "What a joke! What a joke!" I said, "What happened?" So they said, "A doctor cannot be a student." We have learned the lesson, and I think that I am going to remain a student for the life. So therefore, today I am Dhar and our guest is Ravi. So welcome to the show, Ravi.
Namaskar. Thank you very much for inviting me to the show.
Ravi, as I said, I know you as director of GYMS, but I would like you to tell us how did you start your education, where you had your basic education, and where did you go to college, and how did you come into teaching?
Okay. Well, my father was in army, so for the most part, we were in cities, but I belonged to a village. And as circumstances would have it, my father retired by the time I was just 9 years old. And therefore, we had to move back to the village to which I belonged. Having shifted to the village, it seemed to me that all the doors of further progress had been shut upon me, because once you are in the village, the kind of environment you have in the village, that is not very conducive for your individual progress.
There must not be many schools in the village.
Yeah, there was just one school that was a government school, and that too way back in 1969, when India was also very underdeveloped. It was still on the road to recovery, road to progress, but then there were not many facilities available around.
Agreed.
Luckily, and I would say, I'm saying luckily, but I believe that it was not mere luck also, because as I always believe that if there is an intense desire within you to achieve something, then the universe conspires to help you.
Very
I'm
well
using
said.
the word conspire because most often it is used in a very negative sense, in a pejorative sense, but then I'm deliberately using it to emphasize the fact that if you have a desire to achieve something in life, then all the forces of the cosmos will aid you in your intent. Now, because I wanted to get out of the village, I wanted to be someone something and not to lead a vegetable existence or an ordinary existence. It so happened that one day my father came and he told me that there is a residential school, a public school that is opened in Jammu, and if I would be willing to go.
Which year was that?
That was 1970.
Okay.
I was 10 years old at that time. And because I had this desire to study in an English medium school, because English at that time was a passport to success. And I wanted to learn in a public school which had English as the medium of instruction. So the moment he mentioned the subject, he broached the subject, I pounced on the opportunity, and I said, yes, why not? My mother was very against the idea because she felt that sending a child away from home was a sign of the inability of the parents to bring up the child.
That's all mothers think.
And that's what all mothers believe.
Yes.
So, and that too, when you are in a village environment, the most important thing in a village usually is your food. So people think that if you can't feed yourself, only then you send your child away. That concept, that broad-mindedness is missing in a village environment. So I had to convince my mother that it was for my good that if I was leaving the village, leaving the parental home and going to the residential school. So she fell in line with my wishes, and I landed in what was the first batch that was admitted to Sainik School, Nagrota.
I believe
That's how my journey began.
Yes. I believe, the opportunities knock at the door of everyone.
Exactly.
And some of them recognize that and get into that and rise. But so many times, the youth says no themselves. But here your mother agreed. That was a great thing.
Yeah, definitely. Because she always used to believe that if a child wants to achieve something, do something, she must become a medium of the achievement of the target that the child has fixed. She was always for the children, and mothers would like to help their children.
And studying English at that time was really a big decision, and there were not many schools who were teaching English or English medium as a subject also. There were not many schools at that time.
Yeah, there were not many schools. It was a big thing at that time. So I left for the school, which was around 280 kilometers away from my hometown, from my village, not hometown, from my village. And it was the talk of the village that Ravi is leaving the village and going across the tunnel. You see, the Banihal tunnel is a very important landmark in J&K topography.
Yes.
Because it divides Jammu from Kashmir. So from Kashmir Valley, I was landing in the hot and torrid climate of Jammu, which had no such beautiful vegetation. While Kashmir was the land of honey and milk, Jammu was not. Jammu was all bushes and stones and gravel and sand. But then that was where my karma bhumi was. So I landed over there, and it was there that I initiated my journey started of education. I educated myself. And again, over here, which is important, I think, for youngsters to know is that because I was not so good in English, so in one of the classes, that is the 6th to 8th classes, I failed in English.
My God.
Yeah, I failed in English, and I had to sit for a retest. I passed the subject. Then I decided that I have to do something about it. And so I did, and within 3 months period of time, I topped in the class in English. In the very subject in which I had failed, I topped in the class. And I left behind all the convent-educated students who had joined the school. So that was something of it was a kind of a news in the whole school that Ravi has topped in English. I was a backbencher. From a backbencher, I had become a front bencher.
Yes, that must be an achievement. Yes.
Yeah, and exactly. And alongside, another thing that had happened was that when I joined 9th class, I took a decision on my own. And that was, there was an opportunity, either I was to go for commerce stream or I was to go for science stream. Now, in Sainik schools, because the intent is to send all students to the NDA, that is National Defense Academy. So all students usually are expected to study mathematics and sciences because those are the papers that they have to appear in when they sit for the UPSC examination, entrance examination for NDA. But somehow our principal decided that because commerce is a new stream and he should introduce the stream to the students. And when my principal asked me, Ravi, which stream would you like to choose? I said, because I have not been doing very well in sciences, so I would like to join commerce stream. He was so proud of me. He said, you took the decision on your own.
Oh.
Because most of the children, they said that they would consult their parents. But here I was, I think I was around 13 or 14 years of age, and I came up with the decision on my own.
So this is something great. At that point in time, as I remember, even the parents didn't know what subject you should choose and all.
Exactly. But I took the decision and I joined, and I started doing well then afterwards. Because earlier, because of my inadequacy of English language skills, I was not performing so well. But once I joined 9th class, I started topping in the class and I became a topper. And that's how I landed also in BCom program in the university while doing my BCom, of course, because I had been fascinated by my English teachers. So there was this desire in me that I would like to be a writer. I would like to write. I had an interest in writing poetry, in writing fiction. So I thought that I would like to make a career in commerce. But because I had chosen commerce stream, so I had no other option but to join BCom in Jammu University.
Mm-hmm.
And as a student in the university, I topped in the university. I was a gold medalist. And when I had completed my degree program, undergraduate degree program, and the option was now either to join masters in commerce or do an MBA or go for chartered accountancy, I again took another important decision, and that was I'm going to switch to masters in English.
Wow.
Now, people started coming in, and many of my relatives, they said, do you realize the significance of the decision you're taking? Because if you're going to join masters in English, it used to be once upon a time, a very important choice, and people would praise this kind of a choice once upon a time when the Britishers were there in India or in the early years post-independence. But this is 1980. In 1980, there are no jobs for people who do masters in English. And you're quitting a stream which has all the options in the world to make you a rich man. And I said, I don't want to be a rich man. That's not my option. That's not my target. I want to be a happy man. I want to be a contented man. And I would like to understand the significance of life. I would like to understand life. And that's how I landed in Masters in English. And in Masters in English, again, I was among the few students who were from commerce stream. Most of the students were from art stream. And again, over there, because English department was a department in which usually girls always taught, because girls used to join Masters of Arts in English, because parents have this mentality that if their daughters have done Master of Arts in English, they would have very good marital prospects. But here was a student who was a boy who had quit commerce and joined Master of Arts in English with no knowledge of what's going to happen in the future. But I had to underwrite my decision, the inspiration of my English professor in Jammu University, in the college. His name was Dr. Ajay Kotwa.
Mm-hmm.
He continues to be my guru. And he said to me, Ravi, it's not important how much you earn. What is most important is how satisfied you are with your life. That's the most important thing in life. And if you want to pursue a career in writing, in teaching, then this is the only choice that is good for you. That's the right fit for you, Master of Arts in English, not commerce. So go for it if you want to achieve what your heart where your heart lies. Let me also put across one thing, like many times most youngsters are confronted with a choice which is more of a dilemma than a choice. And that was exactly the kind of dilemma I also had, because I was situated in the kind of situation in which I was trapped was a situation in which my family was in the doldrums, economic doldrums. And we had to do something about it to pull the family out of the morass of the poverty that had been inflicted upon the family because of a wrong decision which had been taken, and as a result of which my father had lost all his earnings, lifelong earnings. He had lost them, and we had fallen back on bad days.
Which year was that?
That was 1980. And my father had retired after retirement from the army. He had gone into transportation business. He didn't succeed over there. Whatever investment he had made over there, it had got sunk. It was lost. So all his lifelong earnings had gone. And my parents looked up to me that I would do something for the family. I would help the family to come out of this kind of this vortex of poverty. And here I was taking a decision to go for a Master of Arts in English instead of Commerce, which would have given me the passport to earn more money. But I had this faith in myself that I will do something no matter. So I'll come to the next part, then I'll come to the learning that I had from this was that after I did my Masters, for 1 or 2 years, I taught in a school. And then suddenly an opportunity came. And that was an opportunity in the form of an advertisement which advertised the position of a lecturer in English in Northeastern Hill University. And the moment I looked at the opportunity at that advertisement, I realized that this was the place where I wanted to be. Okay. So I applied for it. And when I was interviewed, the Vice Chancellor and the selection committee, they were so happy with the poem that I recited and the play that I had written when I talked about it. So I was selected for the position. And that position was such that it gave me around 50% more salary than any lecturer in the rest of India would get. So in a way, God took care of my financial needs also. Mm-hmm. So having landed that job, the kind of salary, the kind of money I got, within 2 years, I helped my family to come out of the situation. So both the things were served. My individual preference, my individual choice was also maintained. And at the same time, my commitment to the family was also served.
Yeah, you could help the family come out of the crisis that you had.
So many times, youngsters have these kinds of choices to make when it seems like whether to go here or to go there. And both seem to be very attractive, and yet the compulsions are so dangerous at that moment. But then I would say that if you're sincere, if you're earnest, go for what you want to do. You will definitely be able to help your family also. Cosmos, the cosmic forces, the cosmic energies will help you. So don't ever feel disheartened. Don't lose heart.
Yes.
Keep pressing ahead in life.
That's really great. And when did you think that you are going to do your PhD, and where from you got your PhD?
As far as PhD is concerned, even when I was in school, at that very moment of time, I had thought that I have to go for my doctorate in English. So once I joined the university, then it became very easy, because as a lecturer in the university, it was easier for me to enroll in the PhD program as a teacher scholar. So that was not a difficult thing at all.
Yes. So what I have gathered from you is one thing, that you did whatever your heart said, and you were very sure about it. And this is the message we want to give to the youth also. And second thing, that after you were a gold medalist, and that's why you have produced gold medalists in gyms also. So that
you have also produced a gold medalist?
Yes, I did. But I think that I was only a felicitator. I only motivated my students, and I got the support of my colleagues, from you and my other professors, and of course, the best was from my chairman. My chairman, Dr. Amit Gupta, he had faith in me and he supported me. So I could do it. But yes, I have certain, I would not say a formula, but yes, I know that if the student is ready to do what I tell the student, and I can assure you, the student will definitely get good marks.
Exactly.
So, we have, this is what I wanted the youth to know, that, you follow your dreams and you should not be kind of, half-heartedly, you should not do it. You should go into with full force and with full commitment to this. And once you do that, then nobody can stop you. You will achieve your dreams. You will land up where you want to in your life. What do you say?
I would endorse that, and I would add also one thing. If your intentions are pure, if your intentions are genuine, always remember that all energies in this cosmos will always come in support of you.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And, at this note that you did so well in your studies, and how did you come to do PhD, and you earned for your family, you supported the family and tried to bring out the family from that crisis, which you told us that your father lost money at some point in time. So at this point, we would like to end this discussion, but I have to ask you many more questions. One thing that you told me, you used to write poems, and that's why you wrote later on in your life many books. So we'll talk about that also. And then one thing before we put a full stop to what we have talked now, that I feel that you have two sides of personality. One which is visible, one which is visible to the friends and colleagues and everybody in public, and then you have another which is invisible. We'll talk about it in the next episode, but right now I want to ask you one question on IELTS. Since you have studied English, what would you like to tell those students who want to go abroad and study, and how can they improve their English and how can they prepare for IELTS?
First of all, what I would like to advise all those students who come from different backgrounds and who would like to excel in IELTS, I would like to tell them that English is only a language. Because most often what happens when you start preparing for learning a language, usually you come up against this mental block that I have to learn English, I have to pick up English. I don't know, it's a kind of a mental block that I have usually seen among most people, that as far as their own mother tongue is concerned, they never face that kind of a mental block. But the moment they think of learning English or picking up the language, they feel as if it is something, a kind of a Herculean challenge that they have to pick up. Well, I would like to say to you that it is only a language. It's a language of, yes, a language of a people different from us, who think differently from us, whose culture is different from us. But then, India is a multilingual country. Don't we pick up other languages? I'm a Kashmiri and I speak Punjabi fluently. So if I can, as a Kashmiri, I speak Punjabi fluently, I speak Hindi fluently, and I speak English fluently. So where's the problem? So first of all, please throw this mental block out that it is a difficult thing to speak in English language. Number two, from my own life, I can tell you, I came from a village where English was introduced at the 6th grade level. And that too with the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that's how English was introduced. If I could make it from being a backbencher in the language class to being a topper. So why can't you? Because I'm not different. I'm just one among you. If I could make it, I see no reason why another person cannot do it. The third thing is intent. First two things are basically meant to instill a kind of confidence in you that you can. Having had this confidence that you can, now you need to have the second thing, which is important, is I will. If the intent is strong, you will definitely get everything. The third thing that is equally important then is to adopt the right strategy. Have the right kind of teachers, have the right kind of curricula, and have the right kind of preparatory regime which you should follow to pick up the language. So if you follow these three, everything else will follow.
Well, friends, the punchline is that he failed in English and yet he taught in English, got gold medal. Remember, if Ravi has done it coming from a background of a village and then teaching students and making students get good marks in the university and getting gold medal, he himself got gold medal. So remember, on that note, we are going to end this episode, and I want to request you, please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon also and like the program. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next episode.